Behind every brand, every movement, every leader, every transformation, there's a story. And intertwined in these stories is a message. And this podcast is for you, the next gen leader, coach, entrepreneur, and influencer. My name is Travis Brady, and I'm a branding mentor and sales story strategist. I hope you see me more of a guide than a host as I share the stories behind the brands, so you can take these stories, experiences, principles, and teachings and use them to share your story with the world. And what's up, brand leaders? We are back for another episode of The Story Behind the Brand. I'm excited for today's episode. We got Alvin Harbour. He is a genius when it comes to natural path transformational wellness. He has a business called IVOLV SuperHuman. He has a degree in biochemistry, which all started from his journey being sick at 30 years old and transforming his wellness. Love everything that this dude has to say. I have a background in wellness and nutrition, not like this guy, but I've definitely come to a lot of the same truths that he has. So I'm really excited to have him on here today, because at the end of the day, everything in your business, everything in your brand is useless if you are not healthy, right? They say the true wealth is being healthy. So excited to have you on, Alvin. Fill in the gaps, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It's great to be on here, Travis. I developed this passion around health and wellness. I've always been a little bit different, even as a kid, and I knew that there was more to life and more to research and more to science and just more to everything. And I started out my path as a petrochemist, because where I was, there weren't a lot of opportunities, and ended up 5 years later getting sick, had giant polyps in my colon, just all the negative side effects that come along with that, some not so pretty. And my options were not great. So I dove down the path of natural medicine, researched everything from Eastern and Western, and just trying to put the two together. And my options that they gave me from the doctor were, chemotherapies and autoimmune therapies that were definitely going to destroy my body. I knew that. Mm-hmm. So I dove down the path of looking at Chinese medicine and what that offered, and ended up quitting my job, diving down that path to really go 100% all in on creating health and wellness for myself, because I had little kids. I had 3 kids, and it was not an option to fail.
Yeah, for sure. So when you got sick at 30, did you go into biochemistry after that, or was that during your transfer?
Prior to. So my little plight in life, I guess, was to be an anesthesiologist. And as I started down that path, and I was like, this is we're not really helping people here. I would love to be in something that really helped people. Mm-hmm. So ended up degreeing in biochemistry. I love the body. I love the chemistry of it. I loved everything about, the world we live in. And there's a saying that says, as above, so below. All things are created equal, and all things are created the same. So if we look at our cell from say a plant to a cell inside of our body, they pretty much operate about the same. So whoever created us, I don't know where your path lies as far as religion or as far as a creator or whatever, I truly believe that the same person or the same being, the same God created all of us, because everything is so similar. Mm-hmm. I just, I was super passionate about it, but I jumped into the petrochem world because it paid more, but therein subjected to a ton of toxins, and those toxins finally caught up with me and affected from the toxins I was exposed to as a child through the farming industry, all the sprays, the glyphosates, all of those things that they talk about now as a mainstream. It was in the beginning of those things. I honestly remember when the seed salesman came out, and I was like 5-7 years old. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna sell you this new seed to put into the ground, and it's gonna be much better. It's got this green coating on all the seed." It's like, that doesn't smell right. It doesn't look right. And that's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be fine." And the salesman's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be fine. There's nothing toxic about it whatsoever." That was the beginning of the GMO world. Mm-hmm. That was the inception of it. And fast forward, 30 years, now we have all of these people, actually 40 years. Now we have all these people that are sensitive to everything. I mean, there are kids out there that can't be around a peanut. They can't be in the same room as a peanut.
You want to hear something funny? My Flory went to take in some cupcakes for Maximo's birthday, and they couldn't give it to him, any of the kids, until they get write-offs from all their kids from the parents.
Permission to have a cupcake.
Yeah, permission slip to have a cupcake. And it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense at the same time. It's like, yeah, there's a bunch of shit in there, but at the same time, it's like, we're sensitive to all this stuff. One little ingredient could set someone off. So it's like this conundrum. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's the world is a scary place, as they say right now. We have everything being brought in is mainstream, but it's controlled by an excessive amount of people just searching for money, basically, at the end of the day. And that's what's detrimental to us. We can't devise a plan to heal our body because we have so many things that are affecting how we actually operate.
Mm-hmm. So you went to college just like I did. When I got out of college, I was very much indoctrinated by the college government philosophy: calories in, calories out, fat's bad for you, the food pyramid type thing. And I remember arguing with one of the trainers at my job about like the way to eat, and he was talking about, no, you need more fat in the diet. I was like, no, you need less fat in the diet. And it's just like, as I started to really go down this tunnel of like really what it takes to be healthy and eat nutritious, I was like, this is almost completely backwards.
Totally opposite. The food pyramid should have been flipped upside down.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And you look at there's so many documentaries on this, but they said just follow the money, follow where the money goes. Why was there a big milk campaign years ago about how healthy milk was? Well, because all these dairy farmers are trying to get paid for people drinking milk. These cereal companies want you to have cereal at the top of the food pyramid because they get paid for, if you eat their cereal. So it's just this giant, economic wealth thing at the end of the day, not really about our own well-being as far as health goes.
Yeah, it's about a financial well-being for a number of people, and not so much about a health portfolio, right? And I'd say this all the time to my patients. I ask this question, like, how much money is in the bank right now? Do you know how much money is in your bank? Just in general, right? Within a couple of cents or within a couple of dollars, kind of where you are most of the time. Because what does that do for us? That allows us to plan for the future, plan for the next week or the next month or whatever it may be, because we do our KPIs. We do all those things in the business. And sadly enough, our wealth portfolio and all the wealth portfolios of all these people that are promoting these products that aren't necessarily healthy for us, it doesn't promote our health portfolio, It doesn't promote our health portfolio at all. And so when we start to build up our health portfolio to match what our wealth portfolio looks like, this whole country changes. The world we live in changes at the smallest detail. We start to see a transformation of life and well-being and happiness where people don't have issues anymore. They don't have issues because we all if you look at the most emotionally unstable people in the world, whether it be they're angry, whether it be they're depressed, or whether it be whatever, those decisions are all made out of fear. And when their body is stuck in chaos, they're always going to revert back to that fail-safe mode of fear. So when we heal the inside of our system, we don't operate from a fear-based survival mode anymore. We operate from a place of, like, we can all live happily together easily because we all feel well enough to make great decisions and have great conversations.
Absolutely. Going back to your journey here for a second. So what were some of the habits or things that you were doing that led to you being so unhealthy in your early 30s? And what were some of those first things that you did or learned through the process to get where you're at today that you help your clients with?
Oh my gosh, man, I was a dumpster fire. Honestly, I ate when I was on a seafood diet, right? Everything I see, I eat. So it was definitely that journey. I just, honestly, I worked a lot of hours. I During that time as a petrochemist, I was also a first responder. I was a firefighter and EMT in the industrial space. So I cross-trained over into that because I thought, hey, you know what? I'm young and this is adrenaline rush. It'll be great fun, right? So I'm subjected to tons of toxic chemicals that are sprayed on us because we operated from the industrial firefighting space. We were in that realm of fighting, butane and propane fires and, acid spills and all the things that are, negatively affect your biochemistry. But it was fun, right? And I ate Whataburger. I had a Dr. Pepper at least twice a day. I didn't really drink coffee back then, but I definitely ate everything I could see. I didn't eat a lot of candy necessarily, but I made up for it by eating French fries and burgers from places like, fast food. So,
Yeah.
and build that up over time. So you look at your body's like this really interesting closet, right? That you stick things in. So you would take all this stuff that, like, oh man, I have a little extra this, and I have extra that. Like, I have this old pair of shoes. I'm going to put those in that closet. I'm going to have this jacket. I'm going to put that in that closet. So I would stack all those things, i.e. food, in that closet and never detox. So eventually my closet got full and my body said, that's enough. We can take no more. So we're going to make you sick. So you do something about it.
That's an interesting philosophy. The philosophy I've utilized is imagine a stream that doesn't have any flow, right? And it's going to get all jumbled up with all this garbage and stuff. Your body needs to be like this stream that's just a constant flow of water and everything. But I like the closet analogy.
And the stream is a great one too. You look at if you look at any body of water that doesn't have water constantly flowing into it and out of it, becomes stagnant. Like that's where amoebas grow and all this crazy bacteria and viral load and all these things occur inside that pond. And you'll see the animals won't drink out of there because they know.
Yeah.
They know. But as soon as the water starts coming in and out on a regular basis, it aerates the water. It creates oxygen, which our body also needs. Weird how we're just like everything else in nature, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
We put more oxygen in the system. It creates health. It's fascinating. It reduces inflammation, i.e. excessive bacteria. It's like, weird how all this works. So you just look at nature and we can figure out how to fix our body.
Right. Going back to the patterns, it's crazy how many patterns there are, out in the world. I compare our central nervous system to that of a flower or a tree. The root is down here down our stomach and near our genitalia, right? And then the flower is like the mind, right? And so then you look at the DNA molecule, how it twists. If you look at our solar system, the sun actually is not just sitting there and spinning. The Earth is not just spinning around it. It's actually flying through the space and this twisting around it. So there's patterns. There's patterns everywhere you look out in this world. And so part of success is understanding what patterns you need to get into that are going to help you progress. What are some of the first patterns that you had to start to realize in your life, in your client's life? Like, what are those beginning patterns that people really need to focus on to really start that path to being a superhuman?
Yeah, that's a great question. Number one, mentality. It's everything in your whole world. When your mindset changes, everything in the world around you shifts, either positively or negatively.
So when you say mindset shift, what's that mind shift that you feel like has to happen with people?
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. We sent a newsletter out for around the Christmas holidays, and to teach people about how important mindset was. And we did some research around it. And did you know that in 3 minutes, one thought can shift your genetic expression, like how your DNA actually makes new DNA, how your cell makes new DNA in the ER, the endoplasmic reticulum. It can shift the processes of metabolism. It can shift everything in your cell. So if you wake up one morning and say, today's gonna be a terrible day, everything is terrible, I don't like it, it's just gonna be this, quote unquote suck day, right? Or you shift that mindset and you say, today is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And we challenge all of our patients to do this 21-day challenge of positivity. It's called the 21 Days of Positivity. And every morning you wake up and you actually promote that feeling and that thought, and that you speak those words. You create that spell around you, right?
Yeah.
Which increases your energy of positivity. And every time you have a negative thing creep into your system, you stop it and you turn it around and say, this is not to me, it's for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just those little tricks like that, like, oh, it helps you see the value or find gratitude in whatever situation comes your way. Because as we all know, everything in life is going to come at you. I mean, everything. You're going to get an opportunity to get to deal with some stuff throughout this journey. The more you choose to see it as value and the less you choose to see it as something that is detriment, increases your quality of life, because we're only here for a blip. I mean, if you look at how old the world is, we get 80 to 120 years of awesomeness on this world. How is that in comparison to how old the world is? I mean, is it hundreds of thousands of years? Is it billions of years old? How old is it? We don't know necessarily, but we do know one thing: it's not 80 to 100 years, and it's exponentially longer. Mm-hmm. So why not make the best of it while we can?
Absolutely. Yeah. Going back to, I guess your religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, or however you want to say it, they say our life in the grand scheme of existence is that of a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And so, and time goes by fast, and you have kids and you understand this as just like, I was telling Sam the other day, how old my son was. He's turning 5. He's like, what? He's turning 5. I was like, I know, it's crazy just how fast time goes by as far as everything goes. So, learn to make the most of it, whatever that is.
Yeah. You blink, they'll be 18. You're like, what? Ow. I was just holding you, like, because you woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep. I was just patting you on the bottom in your diaper, and now you're a grown human.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Going back to this topic, because I wanted to talk about not just your story, but the story behind Western medicine, and some of the things that have been indoctrinated into our lifestyle and into the States that pretty much just kills us on a day-to-day basis. And there's certain words that you can't use in your advertising. And I was researching this because I heard this, but you can't use the word cure because it's been trademarked by the Foundation to Cure AIDS. And it's very interesting that you have some of these things going on. So what is, let's talk about that as far as everything goes with Western medicine. And what philosophy you try to indoctrinate into your clients as far as everything goes, because it's very much, Western medicine is very much indoctrinated. Like, why would I do something that's going to help me naturally if I could just pop a pill and have it change overnight? You know what I mean? It's just like we want this quick fix, type of thing in all aspects of our life. And it just destroys us long term. So when did you start to like open your mind to outside of Western medicine? Because in college, that's what they teach you, right? They try to indoctrinate you into all this.
Yeah, oh yes. It's a specified notion of teaching it. And what was really funny is most of the textbooks that we used in school they were 10 to 15 years old. So the information being taught to us was archaic at that point, mm-hmm. right? And unless you move into more specialization and start taking courses or trainings or continuing education units that actually promote what's actually going on currently, like they give you an idea of what is now, then you don't get the full picture. And I didn't really dive down the full-on holistic path. I just always had early on, I had a feeling though that medication wasn't great for me, mm-hmm. so I didn't like to take it. But I kind of had a knowing, right? And as soon as I got sick, I had just known from going to the doctor multiple times, like, here's your antibiotics for this. And I would, I would pick it up and feel, I was like, it doesn't feel right to me, and that's a barometer that our body Everyone has this. Everyone. You can pick something up and hold it and say, is this for me or not for me? And your system is so advanced that it can tell.
I've heard I've been taught this so you hold it in your hand, the vitamin or whatever, and you go, is this good for me? And then if you fall forward, it's a yes. And then if you fall backwards, it's a no. Have you heard stuff like that? Or the arm test, like hold it in your arm and push down. That's a test I've heard. What's your thoughts on those types of tests? Is it
woo woo or is it not woo woo? Right.
I think it's a little both, if you're asking me.
Yeah, of course it is. Well, if you look at, so there's this term that Western medicine uses called placebo effect.
Mm-hmm.
So
the placebo effect is real, for sure.
It is real, right?
Yeah.
Because, all right, what's our reality? Let's answer that question really fast. I feel like our reality is our perception and our perspective on things. Because if I tell you that this is green, or this is blue, or this is a foot, this is an elbow, but you look at that picture very close, you can't tell. You have to take my word for it. Therefore, it changes your perception of what it is. Because if I say this is a foot and it's actually an elbow, because if you look at the heel and you look at the elbow, they look very similar at close-up picture, right? So our whole world is based upon how we perceive it. Therefore, we create our own reality every day. Mm-hmm. Western medicine's view on things, it's so science is, it's in the root of the word. Science basically says this is a theory that we've been able to prove a couple of times and call that scientific, right? Mm-hmm. But is it fact? Well, it's someone's truth based upon a certain test group, but not based upon a unit as a whole. So my system is different than yours, and yours is different than your son's. You have similar things. We all have similar things, but we're very different, dynamically different DNA-wise. Mm-hmm. So is there a truth in all of those things? Is there a truth on like what's best for us? Is Western medicine best for us? Is Eastern medicine best for us? Is there a combination of the two? Probably that's the answer. But I know for me personally, what really shifted my thoughts and views was whenever I got left with options that did not feel and set right with me in my soul. I was like, I watched my grandfather die of cancer. I watched my brother pass away from depression. I watched my grandmother, my grandfather on the other side, or my grandfather on their side, and so both my grandparents on my dad's side and my grandfather on my mom's side all passed away of some form of cancer, whether it be like emphysema, excessive inflammation, or leukemia, or prostate cancer, you name it. And my dad recently, I guess in 2019, also passed away from squamous cell carcinoma. So I'm like, oh my gosh, and if I looked at Western medicine, they would say, well, you exposed for cancer because it's in your genetics. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of, but can we shift our genetics? If we can shift it with thought, we can shift it with food. If we can shift it with food, we can shift it with environment. Mm-hmm. And if we combine all those things together, we create the synergistic effect, creating, honestly, like promoting a utopian society within us and around us.
Yeah. So you're talking about epigenetics.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And for those that don't know, and I'm sure you can explain it better, epigenetics means above genetics, but you can turn on and off gene expression. When I was training, it would be very interesting. I'd get people come my way like, oh, I'm skinny because of my genetics. I'm fat because of my genetics. Obesity runs in my family. Is like, no one runs in your family. And so you teach this behavior of sedentary lifestyle. Let's go to the movies on the weekend. Let's always go out to eat, where my family, when we come back home from the baseball game, my mom makes dinner, which gets rid of all those ingredients. Like, you add up these habits and these generational things we learn. Yeah, it is a completely different type of family, and I think a lot of people just blame way too much on genetics.
That's very true. I mean, honestly, it's not a genetic issue. It's a habitual issue, as you just explained. So our habits create our lifestyle, right? Or vice versa. Who's to say, is it the cart first or the horse, or the egg or the chicken? But both of those two things work in combination to either promote us or decline us. And the more and more we do things in a positive way, the more it shifts our genetics in a positive light. But, as you've seen with many of your clients as well, when you were training and things, you see it everything from emotional unhealth to physical unhealth. And if they say, well, obesity is in my genetics, no, obesity is truly in your habit. You've not changed your habit. And when you change your habit, it does everything from, if it's a biological issue, say like a thyroid issue that's controlling your weight and heart rate and sleep and everything else, then we know for a fact that you have created a habit which shifted the biome, and that's changed all your hormones.
So for those that don't know, talk a little bit about the biome and why you talk about that so much when you're meeting with clients and people.
Yeah, so the microbiome is super important. They say that the gut's the second brain. I honestly believe it's probably the first. It comes very first, because all those processes are activated by signals that are given off by the trillions of microbiome. These small bacteria that live inside of your GI tract. They don't just break down food. They're not just little composters. What they do is they bring in a macro, like something big. They take something big, make it small. When they make it small, they extract things from it like nutrients and frequencies. And then they send those frequencies and signals through the gut lining. That's why the gut lining actually has 100,000 nerve endings on it, called the enteric nervous system. It's in one place in the body, only one place for some certain reason. Who knows why, right? And that actually attaches to a thing called the vagus nerve. We've all heard of the vagus, like vagal nerve activation. All of that's like a common word that they're using currently. That goes up and attaches to this little axis or crossroads in the inside of your brain called the HPA or HPTA axis, depending on what studies you've gone. And that's the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenals. I think the thyroid's attached there in there too, but that's my personal opinion. But that's your endocrine system. That's everything. So if we are activating hormones by signals coming from these little microbiome, and if those signals are good, coming from quality, like positive microbiome, then we have great hormonal activation. That means our testosterone's on point. That means our estrogen's on point. That means we're controlling those two by pregnenolone and progesterone. Like we're creating this synergy of symphony hormones that are running through your system, telling everything to work in harmony or homeostasis. Now, if you have more bad bacteria because you feed a lot of sugar and you're smoking and you're doing all these things that are negative for your health, and you're under tons of stress and you have depression and you're taking medication for that, so on and so forth, then what you're doing is you're promoting these poor signals to keep being sent through that gut lining and telling your hormones how to behave. And as we all know, when your hormones are off, you feel like trash. You'll feel under functioning. You can't gain muscle. You can't lose weight. You can't gain weight if that's your goal. Your cognitive function is down. You can't make great decisions. You find yourself being more reactive rather than proactive in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
It's therein affects your financial well-being, right? Because when you're explosive in a business setting, no one wants to do business with you. And when you're explosive in an intimate setting with your partner, they don't want to stay out. They don't want to stay there. They don't want to be in that. It makes it super difficult for you to operate in the world. That's why it's so important that we create that healthy gut so that we can make great decisions, and those great decisions affect all the people in our world.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that too. The brain is considered a second brain, but a lot of researchers say, no, I think it's the first brain, and you think about it, like when you feel nervous, where do you feel it at? You feel it in your gut, right? When you laugh, right? You feel a lot of emotions through here. You don't feel it through your actual head. You know what I mean? So when they said that, I was like, yeah, you're right. That maybe the gut is the first brain. So it's kind of interesting kind of way to flip it around, as far as everything goes, but it just all goes back to the flower. What's growing the flower? Is it the rose or is it the root system? So, it just kind of all goes back to the patterns. I've been out to your facility, very interesting, a lot of really cool equipment. Do you briefly want to talk about some of the things that you do there? Not something you'll find at the typical medical facility. So I'm sure you can give us a 20-page report and all these studies on all the things that you do, but tell us a little bit about all the equipment you have and why you have those.
Sure. So our goal here, I'll talk a little bit about the goal first, right? So we can kind of get the path, right? This is like our walk, like your walk of faith. So our goal here is to bring the body into a state of healing by promoting, number one, a balanced nervous system, pulling you out of this fight or flight response and putting you back into this feeling of peace, which is what's one would be called say a stress, fight or fear response, or back into what's called the parasympathetic rather than being sympathetic, right? Sympathetic is when we're in that fear response. Parasympathetic is when we're calm. Calm is when we heal. So our first step is we'll put you in the 5D massage chair that gives you this amazing super touch massage. I've had a few massages that were outstanding in this from a human, and this thing is comparative to it. So we have two of those. The next phase of healing is we put you into our cocoon, and it's a room that I've built in the clinic, and it has quartz crystals bordering all the walls that creates a portal of healing. We focus a lot on the metaphysical world because we understand how impactful that is on the physical world that we live in. So in that room, there is vibroacoustic sound therapy. We've modified some equipment to create this synergy of healing. And I say that word a lot because I love how things all interact with each other. So everything promotes the next thing. So we use vibroacoustic therapy that has 7 layers of music called sonic-ceuticals. And these sonic-ceuticals actually speak to each specific cell in the body through different tones or vibrations. And it's impactful music, and it goes through your ears as well. You'll lay on this contoured bed. We also have a healing crystal mat that goes on top that has these Tesla coils in it. And what those do is actually detox the body by promoting healing frequencies through that as well. So we're hitting the body from like 7 different directions with sound and vibration and energy and frequency, just to name a few. And that will bring you into a state of wellness that you didn't think possible. From that phase on, you'll go into, if you have pain or if you have any type of like scar tissue in some of the tissues, like say elbow or joint or whatever it may be, we have a sound wave therapy tool that actually promotes concentrated frequencies into the tissue. It will actually destroy the scar tissue, remodeling muscle, bone, tendon, cartilage, everything. And what it does also is, as it's sending those frequencies in, it actually takes and draws the stem cells, because just like if you've ever been fishing before on a boat and you start tapping on the bottom of the boat and you see the fish come, we can watch a fish finder. You start sending vibrations down into the water. All those stem cells are exactly the same way. We start sending vibrations into one place of your body. Stem cells are like, oh, hey, it wants us to come. It's asking us to come. That's our messages. It's speaking our biological language.
Yeah.
Once we've created that, we send you into a hyperbaric chamber. We have a hard shell hyperbaric chamber that will go to 2 atmospheres. It has a 21-inch smart TV inside where we put healing frequencies and cymatics, which cymatics are it's an artistic representation of how our bodies were made using sound and frequency. Mm-hmm. So it's super fascinating. Has a massage chair in there inside as well. It has 2 large domes on either side, so you don't feel like you're in a claustrophobic state. And it's nice. You just hang out and watch a little TV, have some healing sounds going on in your ears, and get a massage. From that phase, you go directly out and into our transformation tunnel. And this thing is magic. I actually have a really interesting story. If we have time, I'll tell you about it. But excuse me, it uses pulse wave light therapy. So it's pulses of light, LED light, and it has a frequency generator built into the electrical system, so we can pulse healing frequencies. And we have this huge list of, say, if you have inflammatory conditions, if you have cancers, if you have elbow and knee, specific, all the way down to cellular dysfunction in certain parts of the body. Excuse me. we can pinpoint that and adjust the light frequency, because it's full spectrum light, not just red light. And we can do everything from red, green, blue, cyan, purple, you name it. We can blend those colors together to create the specific wavelength of healing light that your body needs. Or we can blend them all together and make a full spectrum where it pulses between all of those lights. And it's a next gen tool. It's a next gen.
I was just going to say that I've been there, and it's crazy. I've never seen some of this type of stuff. It definitely is like the next generation of wellness. Love it. How can people reach out to you? How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah. So we're online, www.IVOLVSuperHuman.com. That's our website, at IVOLV_superhuman on Instagram. Facebook is Evolve Superhuman. We've got a page on there as well. We're here in Peoria, Arizona. We work with a lot of patients worldwide. And to kind of go back post-treatment on the light bed, our goal is to create this healing, like foundational healing for your body. And we also have stem cells. We have the most advanced stem cells in the world from the healthiest mothers. So they all come from Utah, as a matter of fact. Travis, really? The healthiest moms in the world are actually from Utah.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because for one, a lot of these ladies have great faith. They're unvaccinated. We test their mother, we test their father, we test the father of the child, the mother, father. These are all ethically sourced. They're all from mesenchymal stem cells. That means they're from umbilical cord blood, and they're donated by these moms just to help promote a well-being for the entire society. They're just great humans.
That's awesome.
So and these stem cells are really fascinating because most stem cells you get here in the United States are just a stem cell. But they separate all the good qualities. They separate out the cytokines, which protect the stem cell from inflammatory responses. They take out the hyaluronic acid, which keeps detoxification down. They take out the exosomes and the growth factors, and they just give you the stem cell, one thing. Because there's more money, like we talked about Western medicine, there's more money in just giving you that one thing and helping you come back. We promote ourselves as kind of like the sniper of wellness. We want one shot, one kill, right? We want to come in, destroy everything that's bad for you, create what's good for you, reestablish the society that needs to be promoted, and then work off of that great foundation of healing. And so as we do treatments here, we pretty much put people on a 2 to 3 month package where they'll come in. We start prepping the body through quality supplementation. We start prepping the body through healing emotions without talk therapy. And that's one thing that we do here so well is people feel different. It's true transformation. And 2 to 3 months in after your treatment, you receive the stem cells and then you get post-care. And we have 100% positive patient outcome to date. Not one negative side effect, no soreness after injection, no loss of cognition, no issues whatsoever. And no one that I've seen can say that.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, you're incredibly passionate, man. It's been awesome to be a part of what you're doing. Go follow them, guys. If you feel like someone can benefit from this podcast, please tap the 3 buttons on there. Okay, on your screen, send the message to someone. I know you know someone that could absolutely benefit by listening to this podcast. Hey, last thing before you go, one tip, the most underrated tip that you can give our audience about being healthy and being a superhuman.
Yeah, so one of the easiest things you can do, number one easiest thing you can do to promote your health, focus on your microbiome and reach out to me and ask. I have some super simple tricks and tips that are financially inexpensive that can shift how you feel, how you wake up, everything. So focus on the microbiome and then focus on your mentality. How you wake up and how you show up is every single thing to promote better DNA in your body.
Love it. Hey, thanks for jumping on here today, man. Thanks for joining, guys. Okay, please share the podcast. Go give me a review. Be inspired in what you're doing. You are the brand X Factor. Get your story out to the world. Good talk.
Hey, you know you have a story to share with the world, which means you need to get on more life stages. We have a jam-packed schedule in 2024 full of events, including our biggest event year to date, Brand-X. Go to benextgen.com/speak. Again, benextgen.com/speak. Or you could just click the link in the description. Fill out an application. Our team will reach out to you and show you how our speaker partnership works. Get on a stage, get video, blow up your brand, blow up your business. Let's go.